Here is a map of the Old Town in Krakow, Poland, and inside the map you can see there is a whole bunch of bars pinned there. There's actually more bars than you see there. If you zoom in, you'll see even more bars and clubs inside of this circle here. So this is ground zero for the whole nightlife in Krakow, pretty much. In this video, I'm gonna show you where most of the bars are, or the most popular places, as well as video shots of what it looks like at night, what the crowds look like late at night, the age group, that kind of thing. And also give you some tips and tricks to avoid getting scammed, whether it's by people pushing certain clubs or strip clubs on you, to people trying to get you to go to overpriced bars to rip you off, which is kind of common in some of these places in Eastern Europe and other places. And here is a closer shot of the same map in satellite, and the green square in the middle is the big square, that's the city center, and it's called Rynek Główny. And so you'll see shots of the big square, and that's really ground zero, and all the bars are all around these side streets off of it. And the most popular street is Zewska, Zewska, and it's off to the left of the green square. And you see the pin called Banja Luka. That's a bar on Zewska. And so between Banja Luka and the square, that little street there is filled with people at night. And just to give you an idea, there's a Costa Coffee, a Starbucks, a McDonald's, and a Burger King right on that little street right there. So you know that that's really where all the crowds go. I start off at the bar Banja Luka. This place always seems to be crowded, and it's right here at the intersection where everybody seems to congregate. And it's also the intersection where a lot of the people that are trying to sell you things hang out, just because there's so many people coming through here. But anyway, the reason Banja Luka is so popular is because a lot of college students go there because the beers are cheap and the shots are cheap. Beers are about $1.50, and shots are like $1. And they have a whole menu of shots, all these crazy shots with things like hot sauce and Tabasco and all kinds of weird things that sound pretty disgusting actually, but I guess the novelty of it makes a lot of college students want to try them. So this place is always really busy. As I come out here onto Zewska Street, I just like to sit and watch the crowds and see the crazy stuff that's usually going on with young drunk people. And you see that there's people out here promoting stuff, and sure enough, me being a single guy, I'm gonna get approached by a girl that's trying to sell me something, and here she comes now. No thanks, it's too late in the night. They're still open?
Just drink something. Yeah, it's open all night, so just
open all night, 24 hours?
No, all night.
Till what time?
From 20 o'clock till morning. So you're welcome for one beer, for example, free entry with me. You can drink something, relax. After that, you can return wherever you want. Free lesbian show every 20 minutes.
I think I'm done with the drinking. I'm just gonna have a kebab. Thank you. These two girls across from me in the tan and the black jacket are also promoting some club or strip club or something. I don't know what, but they seem bored, so they're gonna, or they're trying to get some attention, so they're gonna leapfrog each other and maybe, they got attention to this guy here. So here's the girl that tried to sell me before. Now some pub crawl going on. So this is a real interesting corner, to say the least. Um, but you notice places like Banja Luka, which I'm not shilling for, just an example, but they don't need to have people outside planted to try to get them to come in to drink there because their drink prices are reasonable. The reason these people are here promoting this stuff is because they get commissions for bringing people in because the drinks are overpriced or they're scamming you or overcharging you somehow. So that wasn't the first time I was approached, and definitely wasn't the last time I was approached walking around that night.
Safari Club maybe for you?
Huh?
Hello Safari Club maybe for you?
I'm,
Section ladies,
I'm just looking right now. Thank you. I don't speak Polish.
Oh, I'm sorry. I will invite you to the new place in the Krakow. It's a strip club.
New place and it's a strip club?
Yeah, we have pretty nice party, more than 20 ladies inside the club. You have entrance for free, so you have no one to lose.
I'm good, thank you.
Okay, cheers.
So that's another 2 times that I got asked to come to some bar or strip club or club or whatever. I got asked some more times, but I didn't catch it on video. So before I talk about the scams, let's just talk about the nightlife here. Here I am walking around the square, and the perimeter around the square is mostly these restaurants that have these outside seatings with the big umbrellas, and it's kind of where the old people hang out at night. So by old people, I mean pretty much anybody that's not these college age kids that are running to the cheap bars and the clubs and all of that. It's more of the relaxed tourists that come here with multiple people or families, and they sit at the square at night and maybe have a few appetizers and some drinks and stay in the same place all night. Unlike the younger kids, the college kids that are running from bar to bar. So pretty much the 2 kinds of nightlife is these kinds of restaurants that are mostly around the square for older tourists that are just looking to hang out, and then all the places on the side streets where the younger college kids go, and those include bars as well as clubs. And so it's all kinds of bars. There's a Cuban bar, there's Irish bars, there's all kinds of your typical kind of dance clubs and things like that. There's even some older type of dance club along the square. It's a restaurant that turns itself into a little bit of a dance club bar at night. So you pretty much have all kinds of options depending on what you like and what you want to see and what you want to do. Now, about the scams, these people that are soliciting you on the street, to me, I don't really consider them scammy because at least you know what they're selling. So they tell you up front they're selling some club or some strip club or whatever, and they're trying to entice you or maybe imply that you have a chance with some of the girls there or something along those lines, and yeah, you are probably gonna pay for more expensive drinks. I mean, they have a come on that it's free entrance and everything, but there's nothing really free. So if they give you free entrance, it's because they're charging you more for the drinks or trying to get you to get dances with the girls or something along those lines. Now, if you're here for a bachelor party, like a lot of people do come here for bachelor parties, I think a lot of Brits come here to have their bachelor parties, then it's not really scammy. You're going to go to some of these clubs anyway, so I guess that's their kind of advertisement. Although some bad things have happened to some of these guys, but the circumstances are questionable. People are drinking, getting drunk. They got beat up by bouncers. It's a lot of he said, she said kind of thing. So who knows what really happened, but some bad things do happen. Maybe it's because of over padded bills, or maybe it's just because of people acting crazy. I don't know. So those are the types of scams that are kind of easy to avoid for most people. The other kind of scams that can happen to you in places like this, touristy places, are a different kind of scam, and they're potentially much more costly and much more dangerous, possibly. Nothing like this happened to me in Poland, but it did happen to me in St. Petersburg, Russia. And the scam is this. It's pretty simple. Basically, just like these pretty girls came up to me on the street offering me to go to some strip club or something like that, instead, some pretty girl is either gonna come up to you on the street or meet you in a bar, start talking to you, and pretend like she really likes you or something, and offer to go someplace else with her where she chooses the place. So she'll say, I know a really cool bar or club or something like that, or restaurant, and it's close by, and obviously you think, wow, this is my lucky day or something. So you follow her and you go to some little hole in the wall place on some little side street someplace, and you go in, and usually there's not a lot of people there, and maybe there's not even a menu or something, and the girl immediately starts ordering all kinds of drinks like champagne or food platters or something like that, and before you know it, she loses interest and either leaves or something, or has a fake phone call and has a sick mother she has to get to, and you're left with some inflated bill. In some cases, I've heard of stories where they're $1,000 or something along those lines, and you're not allowed to leave because there's a big bouncer there. So even if you don't have the money, he'll bring you to an ATM machine and make you take the money out. That's a kind of bad scam. The variation on this scam is also where it could get really dangerous. Is same situation. The girl takes you to another place, and they are in cahoots with the place, and the place or the girl somehow slips something in your drink. So instead of just having an expensive bill, you get knocked out and you wake up and your credit cards are gone and they're all maxed out, something along those lines. Your phone's gone, and the money's bad, but if they give you the wrong dose or something, you could potentially die from it. So It's something definitely to think about and look out for. I don't want to scare people and have them think that um, everywhere you go, this is going to happen or it happens all the time or something like that because it doesn't. But if you're in these high tourist areas late at night where people are drinking, it, it could happen. I mean, especially if you look like either you have money or you're by yourself or just like you look like an easy mark. So maybe that happened to me. Maybe I look like an easy mark because I was walking down Rubenstein Street in St. Petersburg, which is where all the bars and clubs and things are. And sure enough, it was late at night. It was, I don't know, 12, 1 o'clock. And two girls were walking towards me. You know, I was walking in their direction. And I could see, you know, there were a lot of people on the street, but I can see them, and they were basically trying to size everybody up that they passed, and they were saying hello to everybody in Russian. They were saying privet to everybody, and just to kind of get a reaction or to get some kind of interest from somebody. So as they passed me, they said that to me too. They said privet. And I said hello, and I just kept walking. So I walked pretty fast, and so by the time I said hello, and it registered to them that I answered in English, which there's not that many native English speakers over there, so they knew I was a tourist and obviously a prime target. So they immediately turned around and, like, you know, ran up to jump in front of me and start talking to me. Okay? So if that's not a red flag, I don't know what is. I mean, you know, you have to be honest with yourself. If you looked in the mirror this morning and you didn't see Brad Pitt or Justin Bieber, you don't normally have 20, 22-year-old girls running up to you to talk to you on the street, right? So this is what happened to me, and so I was just playing along. I wanted to see how long it was before they offered to go someplace with me. So I was talking to them, and you know, they were trying to get all kinds of information out of me, where you're from, how long you staying, or things like that. And they had pretty good English skills too, by the way. So they were 20, 22, young, pretty, very friendly and everything. And one of them was saying how she was trying to get a visa to the U.S., but I don't know, she got denied or something, this, that, and the other thing. And then they suggested that we go someplace to hang out and have drinks. Okay, so I don't know about most people, but that never happens to me or has never happened to me before this time. So um, when a young pretty girl that's what 25 years younger than you and two of them no less run up to you on the street and are so interested in you and want to go hang out with you and have drinks, uh, you could be sure that there's a scam involved there, and it was most likely the expensive drink scam, but for all I know, it could have been the, you know, put a drug in your drink and knock you out type scam also. So who knows? There's a saying that you can't con an honest man. And what that means is that most people who get conned, they get conned because they want to believe in the dream that the con man is selling them. You know, when people say the scam of I won a lottery ticket, but I'm illegal, so give me some um, good faith money and you can cash the ticket, or any kind of these old school scams. It's always somebody that wants to believe that they're getting over, or they're getting a shortcut to fast money or something along those lines. And in this case, you know, it's the same thing because if you want to believe that here you're this tourist and you just got to St. Petersburg and these two girls, not just one, two young girls are so interested in you that they're, running up to you on the street and insisting that they want to hang out and have drinks with you. Um, yeah, it feels nice to believe that maybe that's true, but um, the reality is usually different. And so if you are, I guess, that kind of, you want to believe in that dream, you're going to suffer the consequences. So most of these scams, like I said, are avoidable, especially if you have a little common sense. If you're the type of person that back in your hometown, when you walk down the street, girls 20 years younger than you are running up on you and trying to hang out with you, then okay, maybe you could believe it. But if that's never happened to you or doesn't happen to you, then it's not going to happen to you in any of these other countries either. So take it for what it is, and be wise and be wary of your surroundings, and you won't get scammed. So that's my talk on Krakow nightlife and what kind of scams to look out for when you're in places like Eastern Europe, Russia, Ukraine, things along those lines. So thanks for watching. Give me a thumbs up if you like this video, or subscribe if you like these videos, because I'm going to put out more of them soon.